Begin in Balasana, child's pose. Knees can be together or apart. Start opening up the chest, and stretching out the underarms, reaching fingertips either above your head or maybe hugging your arms around the sides of your legs. And just settle the mind and settle your breath. Begin to inhale and exhale. Make sure that the breath is not forced but welcome. Move into tabletop Goasana. Toes can be tucked or pushing through the tops of your feet. Come into cat-cow. So cow pose, drop the belly, fill it with air. As you exhale, doming your back out into cat. Relax your head, gaze through the thighs. Inhale, cow. Point the tailbone to the sky, open the heart to your front of your space. And exhale, stretching and curving the spine. A few rounds here. And just keep a micro bend in your elbows. Make sure your fingers are nice and spread wide. Weight is evenly distributed throughout all the knuckles. Little extra awareness in the index and thumbs. And on the next inhalation, come to a neutral tabletop. Reach the right fingertips high, and as you exhale, come in to thread the needle underneath the left arm and left thigh. Maybe reach your left hand behind to check the bum and make sure that your hips are still level. And just settle into this twist, letting your right shoulder and right ear rest firmly on the mat. And breathe, keeping the hips stacked over the knees all the while. And the next inhale, push with your left hand, reaching the right fingers high, and return under the right shoulder, and repeat on the left side. So inhale the left fingertips, exhale, thread the needle through the right side, resting left shoulder and left ear on the mat, and extending the right arm overhead. And just breathe. With every inhalation, get a little bit longer, and with every exhalation, settle into the twist. Wonderful detoxing. And the next inhale, creep the right hand back in front of the face. Push yourself back up, extend the left fingertips high, and exhale, plant the hand back under the left shoulder, tucking your toes, pivoting your hips high. Keep some bend in your knees in your downward dog. And come to the balls of your feet, tippy toes, and maybe start to walk the dog, releasing one heel at a time. Actively pushing through your hands, maybe give a yes-no shake of the head. Let gravity pull your head away from your shoulders, keeping your back nice and straight. And when you're ready, come to point your toes to the left side and then the right, giving a side body stretch. One more, really reaching through, and then roll your body up, come into high plank, lower the knees, and sit back down into child's pose. Take notice of how this child's pose feels a little bit different than when we first began. Maybe there's a little more space. And you exhale, do the knees, chest, chin, and arch up into a big cobra pose. Bhujangasana. Tuck in the toes, push up to plank, then pivot back into downward facing dog. This time, make your dog be a little bit wider than usual so that your feet are a little bit more back than usual. Exhale. Jump or float to the top of your space, and forward fold, maybe cupping the heels with your hands if your flexibility allows you today. Every day is different. Just play around with it, whatever it is that you want to explore. Untucking the hands if they're tucked, half lift. And exhale, fold forward, dripping down the front of your legs. Bend your knees generously and roll up one vertebrae at a time, coming into Tadasana, standing at attention. Minimal adjustments. Reconnect with the breath, maybe roll out the wrists, awaken the fingers. And inhale, lifting the palms skyward. Gaze up, maybe back a little, create a little back bend stretch. And lower the hands, interlace fingers behind the base of the back. Keep a little bit of bend in the arms, and reach the palms and knuckles downward to drip down the back of your legs, opening your heart to the sky. Inhale, fingers high, and exhale, fold forward, hinging at the hips, and melting down the front of your body. More weight is in your toes, fingertips root to the mat. Inhale, half lift, straight spine. Plant your hands and step back into high plank. Less weight in your toes. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana, elbows over wrists. Inhale, scoop the heart forward and up into upward facing dog, pushing through the tops of the feet, keeping the knees off the mat. As you exhale, roll over your toes and pivot the hips back into downward facing dog. And inhale, lift the right toes skyward, stacking your hips, three-legged dog. Maybe lower your left elbow down. Get a nice stretch. Lift the toes skyward. Come back into three-legged dog. As you exhale, draw your right knee towards your nose and then step your foot between your hands, lowering the left knee and tucking the toe. And then reach your right fingertips skyward. Coming into a revolved lizard lunge. Maybe reach for that back foot if flexibility is your friend today. Just try it out. Maybe set an intention for your practice of exploring the not normals. So maybe play around, spiral the hand back down, tuck your toes, step back into a lizard lunge, reach the right toes skyward, and then exhale, keeping the foot off the mat is an option, or come into high plank, lower to Chaturanga Dandasana, upward facing dog as you inhale, and exhale, downward facing dog, reach the hips high, pushing through the palms. This time lift as you inhale, left toes skyward, stack the left hip over the right, reach the toes to the back, lower the right elbow if you lowered the left elbow on the first side. And come back into three-legged dog. Exhale, draw left knee to nose and step it between the hands, lowering the right knee, untucking your toes, and reach the left fingertips skyward, opening the heart to the left of your space, keeping the shoulders away from the ears. And just breathe through the twist. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. If you reached for the back foot on the first side, go ahead and try on the second side. So nice quad stretch, nice hip opener. Again, maybe stick with the not normal. So anything that you usually do, try to do something a little different. Mix it up. Exhale, spiral, left hand down, frame the foot, tuck the back toes, and lift the left toes high. Three-legged dog. An option to keep the foot lifted in your vinyasa. Chaturanga Dandasana, inhale, upward facing dog, and exhale, tucking the toes, pivot hips up and back, downward facing dog. Step the toes up just slightly, and push through the palm. Pivot to high plank, come into side plank variation, Vasisthasana, reaching left fingertips high, gaze down at the hand, lifting the left hip. Maybe play with the gaze, look up. If it's challenging, try to challenge yourself in today's practice. Maybe lift the leg if you always keep the ankles together. As you exhale, plant the left hand down and roll over the toes, coming into the left pinky edge of the right foot. Lifting the right hip high, reaching the right fingertips high. If you looked upward, mirror what you did on the first side. With the second side, lift the right ankle high, keeping the foot flexed to maintain engagement. Lower the ankles together, come into high plank, and move back into your Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Pushing through the palms, spiraling the upper arms outward, opening the chest, bend the knees, and hop or float to the top of your space. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Let the head be hanging heavy. Bend the knees, sweep arms up, and come into Utkatasana, chair pose. Exhale, hands at heart center. Point the tailbone down to the earth below. More weight is in your heels and calves. Root into the right foot and inhale the left foot to hover. And point the toes, reach the toes back as you hinge forward, coming into Virabhadrasana 3, Warrior 3. Inhale, bend the knee, back to the other. Exhale, Reach the toes into Warrior 3. Do this 3 more times at your own pace, playing with the balance, keeping the hips level, maintaining rooted sensation in the right foot. Steadiness, the movement, steadiness with the mind. You've got this. If you fall out of it, just come back into it. On the last one, slowly and controlled, lower the ball of the left foot and come into crescent lunge. Reaching fingertips skyward, float the fingers down and find them at the base of your back, interlace. Keep a slight bend in the elbows and come into humble warrior as you exhale, hinge at the waist. Try to avoid collapsing your upper body into that front right leg. Reach through the crown of your head. Inhale, come back up. Release fingers, reach high. And fingertips, find the mat. Lift your left toes skyward, come into a standing split. And then stack your left hip over right. Again, if you fall out of it, that's okay. Invite the falling out. Creates more endurance, more familiarity with the postures that you approach. So stack your hips and your shoulders. Reach into the back left foot. Play with the balance maybe into half moon. Lift the fingers. And when you're ready, find the mat with both hands, unstack hips, and release the foot back down to the mat. Come now into chair. And we'll repeat on the other side. So Utkatasana, fingers reach high. Exhale, hands at heart center. Anjali Mudra. And breathe here for a moment. Rooting. And for those of you who have kids or fur babies or both, maybe take the time now to give love where it's needed. Or maybe hike up some yoga pants that don't want to stay where they're supposed to. And when you're ready, join me back in chair, Utkatasana, hovering the right foot. Inhale, lengthen through the crown of your head. And when you're ready, as you exhale, reach the right toes back. Come into Warrior 3. Inhale, draw knees together, keeping the foot hovered. Exhale, extend the leg. Inhale, knees together. Exhale, keep that right hip level with the left. And on one more, on the fourth, extension of your back leg, and Warrior 3, then we'll drop the ball of that right foot, very controlled, very slowly, and meet in crescent lunge. And reaching the fingertips skyward, gaze through the palms, release the fingers, interlace at the base of the back, draw the heart open before moving into humble warrior. So as you exhale, hinging at the waist, keeping the hips in line, or maybe mix it up, reaching high one more time. And when you're ready, hinge forward, avoiding collapsing into the front leg. Reach through the crown of your head. Maybe sneak in a kiss or two. And inhale, come back to lunge. And spring off that back foot. Come into standing split. When you're ready, stack the right hip over the left, right shoulder over the left shoulder, and find your half moon. So lift that right leg as high as you can. Sometimes it helps to flex the foot. Play with the balance. Maybe lift the left fingertips off. And then step your right foot to join the left into forward fold. Go ahead and roll up one vertebrae at a time, lifting your head last. Little shoulder roll at the top if you'd like. Inhale, gaze through the palms as they reach skyward. Exhale, forward fold, hinging at the waist. Again, roll up one vertebrae at a time, bending your knees generously. Roll your shoulders back and down. Inhale, fingers lift high. Exhale, plant your palms. Spread your fingers nice and wide. And step your feet back into high plank. Less weight in your toes. Exhale, slowly lower Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, scoop the heart forward and up. Gaze skyward. Roll over the toes, come into downward facing dog, and step up maybe to shorten the stance, creating an inverted V shape, reaching the hips high. Inhale, spiral your heart forward, and then put weight into the right hand, coming into a side plank variation, Uthita Vasisthasana. If you wish, you can grab a hold of your big toe on your left foot with your peace fingers and thumb, and inhale your heel to the sky. As you lower it down, stack it over the right, and then maybe try Wild Thing, Kamatkarasana. So stepping your left ball of your foot in line with the hip, and creating a little bit of a back arch, reaching the left hand overhead. When you're ready, come back to side plank, unstack the hips and shoulders, lower to Chaturanga Dandasana, scooping the heart forward again, pushing through actively through the hands. Fingers nice and spread wide, rolling over the toes back into downward facing dog, relaxing your neck, gaze through your calves, find your drishti point. And again, we'll repeat the side plank on the left side now. So when you're ready, glide forward into high plank, roll over the toes, come to the pinky edge side of the left foot, keeping the hips and shoulders stacked, reaching through your right fingertips. And maybe if you lifted your leg on the first side, we'll try it on the second side. So slowly grab a hold of your right big toe with your peace fingers and your thumb, actively lifting the hips as you lift your leg. When ready, lower, drop the right ball of the foot, hip level, in line with the hip, and then spiral your heart open skyward, drawing your right arm up and around the top of your space. When you're ready, step back into side plank, plant the right hand, unstack the hips and shoulders, and Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Your arms are nice and warm right now. Tucking your toes, pivoting back into downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Neck relaxed again, pushing through the balls of your feet. Inhale, go ahead and draw that right leg coming into a half pigeon pose. So stack your right knee behind your right wrist and flex your right foot, pointing it to the left of your space. If you want, just fold forward here. If you'd like to get a little deeper of a stretch, then you can tuck your right outer arm in the arch of your right foot and play around with your neck. Sometimes neck sensitivity can make this pose a little uncomfortable for your neck if you look up, so maybe just look down. Keeping some relaxation in the neck, relaxing the shoulders, pushing your hands together in prayer, allowing your heart to spiral to the left. And when you're ready, go ahead and push your hands back into your mat, lifting your right toes skyward into three-legged dog, lowering nice and controlled, and repeat on the other side. So lift the left leg. As you exhale, set it down, foot flexed, tucked behind the hands, pointing the right toes. Keep the sickle out of your foot, so keep your toes pointed directly back. And then whatever you did on one side, repeat on the other. Go ahead and put the outer left arm in the arch of the left foot, pushing hands in prayer. Feel out the neck positioning. Maybe gaze down, keeping the shoulders away from the ears. Remind yourself and rid of the idea of what it's supposed to look like, or that it doesn't mirror exactly what you did on the first side. Just embrace whatever your body gifts you right here, right now. And when you're ready, untuck the left arm, position your hands, plant firmly, and lift the left toes skyward into three-legged dog. And lower slowly, hinge forward to your vinyasa, Chaturanga Dandasana as you exhale. Inhale, lifting heart forward, and upward facing dog. Keep a micro bend in your elbows, protecting joints always. Roll over the toes as you exhale, coming back to downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Step the feet up a little, gaze through the calves or the knees, wherever your body takes you. Rolling up onto the balls of the feet, generous bend in the knees, and step or float to the top of your space. A half lift, straighten your spine. Exhale, hug the upper body into the thighs. Awesome, yogis. And with intention, slowly roll, nice and gently, all the way up to standing in Tadasana. Sweeping arms up for the last time. As you exhale, draw hands at heart center. Now exploring together Abhaya Harjaya Mudra, Fearless Heart. Interlace the pointer, middle finger, and pinkies, leaving the ring fingers free. And touch the ring fingers and thumbs together, holding hands close to heart. You'll cross the right hand over left when doing this. Feel it out, and the benefits include nourishing your lungs, your heart, helping digestion, and it imparts a powerful sense of vitality and calm. It can help reduce bad dreams and basically reestablish the sanity to a troubled mind. So who doesn't need that, right? Okay, use this mudra. It's helpful during times of exhaustion and helps heal from debilitating illness. So regaining strength after any type of impairment or any type of procedure, this is the mudra that you can go to. It allows your heart to descend from the head through the chest down into the belly. Namaste, yogis.